Hi, everyone. This is Joseph. Today, we are talking about the new Trump Gold Card and the Platinum Card, and they are completely different. Wasn't what people were expecting, but there's so much in-depth we want to dive into because there's a lot of misinformation. This is a really exciting thing. Drink? I'm gonna be drinking this. I'm gonna be drinking this. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of policy, a lot of what you believe. I mean, we made a video on this a couple months ago when it was just announced, so we knew it was real, and now it's here. And so let's talk about it. First, the main thing I want to distinguish is between the gold card and the platinum card. The platinum card, let's just say, is what President Trump initially talked about on the campaign trail during the election, talking about this great thing that people will be able to apply for, and that you pay $5 million and you don't have to pay taxes. We did an in-depth discussion about that. Now that's going to happen. It's coming soon, not here yet, but it's on the website. You could take a look at it now. Then there's the gold card, which is to get a green card, right? And so you get a green card and eventually you could be a citizen, but it is separate and different from the benefits that you can receive as a platinum card. We're going to go in depth and talk about this and talk about the process. So let's start with the gold card because that's more laid out and that's more clear, and we'll talk about the process and what you should prepare for. The gold card's government filing fee is $15,000, non-refundable, very similar to all the other processing fees. It is a little bit more expensive than compared to other processing fees, but this includes the quote-unquote premium processing. So nowadays, when you file for a lot of business immigration cases, you pay close to $3,000 to expedite your case to make it faster. So you're on top of your normal couple $1,000s, you pay an additional $3,000, now you can expedite it. This is $15,000 and it includes the premium processing, basically to make things faster. Is it worth it? Let's dive in more to talk about it. The craziest difference between this and the normal EB-5 program, and where you essentially invest $1 million, 800,000 or a little bit over $1 million to get your whole family a green card, is the fact that the original EB-5 investment program, you get it for the entire family. One investment, the entire family. This is now $1 million per person. And if you want a company to sponsor you and pay on your behalf, then it's $2 million per person, per employee. That is a big difference, right? So if you have a family of 4, you can do the math. It's a lot more expensive to do it this way, but there's some benefits. One thing is, in the past, we've never seen a corporate-sponsored green card program in the United States. It has always been individual. So an individual invests $500,000 for the most, of the lifespan of the EB-5 program, $500,000. But now, since a couple of years ago, they upped it to 800,000 to $1 million and for a family. And now this gold card is $1 million per person. But then they added, if you have a corporate sponsor, it could be $2 million. This is a pretty big deal. But I'm going to talk more about this in a bit. We're going to go through the process some more. A lot of people were really worried about, well, I'm going to pay this $15,000 filing fee, and then I'm going to give $1 million or $2 million, and then maybe subject to lawsuit, and then maybe this gets canceled and I lose all my money because the $1 million and $2 million is a gift to the government. That is unacceptable. I cannot take that risk. From what we're seeing now, the process is like this. You pay the $15,000 application fee, then USCIS will give you essentially similar to a request for evidence. Okay, we accepted it. Now please make this $1 million to $2 million gift to the US Treasury. Then you make it, and then you go to the visa interview. From everything that we're seeing, there is no direct adjustment of status in the US yet. So everybody who goes through this process still have to go through the consulate. So if you're in the US, you have to leave, go back to your home country, go to the consulate. Once you get your visa, then you come in, and then you go through the green card, and then the green card will arrive in the mail. So that is the process. The $1 million comes after the application fee. Now, for people who are accustomed to immigration, who know the lingo of immigration, this I-140 application fee, you pay the $15,000, is just the I-140 stage. And then you pay the $1 million, it gets the I-140 approved. When you go through the consulate, that's when they do the background check. And then if they determine, well, sorry, you are inadmissible to the United States because of your organization's affiliation, because of your background, because of a national security threat, we can still deny your visa. So if people want to talk about risk, this is the risk. You pay the $15,000, the government gives you, hey, now pay the $1 million or $2 million, you give the gift, you leave the US, or you've never been in the US, you go to the visa interview, gets denied, you have no appeal because it's at a consulate denial. The consulate denied your visa, you have no authority to appeal. There's no court that's going to see it because of consular non-viewability. And the $1 million to $2 million that you're giving, it's a pure gift to the U.S. Treasury. So that is what we're seeing. Now, if your case is clean, you don't have a risk of being denied at the visa front, then the $15,000, then you give the money. We did some in-depth research into this. A lot of questions people have been asking, is this tax deductible, right? My company made a lot of money. Can I donate $1 million as a charity to the US government and now I could write off all my taxes? The answer is no. It's a gift. It's, if you donate to a charity, it is tax deductible. But if you give it to the US government, it's not a gift and it's not a transaction, even though from the face of everything, it looks like a transaction, right? You give a gift to the government and you get a green card. How is that not a contract and a transaction? Everything that I learned in law school about contracts, tit for tat, tit for dat. Well, the government is saying, sorry, this is a gift. The legal ninjutsu of, arguing that this is not a contract, it is not an exchange, is so interesting because it is qualifying you under the EB1, EB2 rubric, which we'll talk about in a bit, like why choose between the two. Isn't EB1 always better than EB2? Not necessarily. We'll explain why. But the idea is by giving $1 million to the U.S. Treasury, you have demonstrated that you are potentially very useful to the United States. You are obviously rich, and therefore we grant you the EB1, EB2 visa, which allows for very important people to come into the country. So by giving $1 million is essentially just getting a letter of recommendation from the White House. That is the idea. And by getting this quote unquote letter of recommendation, now you are a person of merit, you are a person of national interest, you deserve to get a visa, to get a green card. That is the entire logic and argument, showing that it is not a contract. Your $1 million donation, it is just proving that you are quite valuable. If you want to make an analogy to the college admission scandal or anything of that nature, right? This $1 million, $2 million donation to the Ivy Leagues, you secure a letter of rec, you secure a dean's letter, you secure a spot on the cricket team. Now the college admits you because you are important. No. President Trump is a businessman. This is America. This is the policy that we have. It is happening. This is the gold card that we have on our hands. Will it be challenged in court? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of debate about that. We could talk a little bit about it now. Who is it going to truly affect? Well, the people that's going to be most harmed by this program are the real scientists, artists, everybody else who's doing the EB2 and EB1 program, everybody else who's of national interest, who's not rich, who's trying to go through the program to secure a green card. They're Nobel laureates. They've been waiting for a long time. This will cause them to have to wait longer. They might challenge this, saying, hey, this is not the program I signed up for. I already paid a lot of money. I'm important to the US. How can all these people cut in line and now use up the slots? Now, everybody who was applying for this $1 million green gold card, their application starts after they filed it, which means everybody who filed previously before this date, it's not going to delay them, but everybody in the future will be delayed.
But so what are the advantages of applying for the gold card?
Well, first, I want to take a step back and say we will talk about the platinum card, which is supposedly coming. And that is very, very different. And it has a lot of different perks and benefits to that. So platinum card, gold card. But if we're saying what are the advantages of doing a gold card compared to everything else? The gold card, for all intents and purposes, the way it serves in the entire business model world of trying to get a green card. It is the closest thing to buying a green card. Okay, so even though they're saying you're not buying a green card, you're getting a gold card, even though they're saying you're gifting $1 million, you're not buying it, it's not contractual relationship. For all intents and purposes, that is what it is. Because let's compare it to the other ones, right? Then let's go from reverse order. EB5, you are investing in a company, in an enterprise, and you're hiring 10 employees in the US. If your investment fails, you don't get a green card, but you are investing. You're not buying, you are investing. You solve the US job market problem, then you get a green card. EB4, you are a very special religious organization. You're a pastor, you are a music worship leader, you are an Afghan translator. You get a green card through the EB4 process. EB2 and EB3, and today's successor is EB3, by the way. EB2, EB3, a US company really needs an employee. We can't find it here in the US. We give it to a foreigner, but you're helping the US company. EB1, EB2, and IW, you are of great national importance. You are a genius. We give you a green card. Please come to the US to make the US better. That is the landscape of the business immigration world. There's none of that which is buying it. You can't just spend money to buy it. This gold card is the closest thing to buying the green card, right? You give $1 million, the company gives $2 million on your behalf, and now you are quote unquote extraordinary. You are qualifying for the EB1 space. Now, why doesn't Trump just come out and do a EB7, EB8, or another EB category, or an EB1D or something, or something else, and say, now you can buy a green card? Well, because the law doesn't allow that, right? If he wanted to do that, he would need to go through Congress. He doesn't want to go through Congress. He wants things to be faster. He doesn't want a debate. His words, his ideas, his business sense, he wants to skip through all the red tape. Well, in that case, what authority does he have? How can he ninjutsu maneuver around it? Well, he can say, well, then if you give $1 million, I write you essentially this letter rec. You go through the consulate. I control the consulate. I have full authority over foreign affairs because I'm the president. And so you invest $1 million, you get the I-140 approved, you go to the consulate, you get the visa, you come to the United States. I have authority to do that. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But that's the situation. So the gold card is the closest thing to buying a green card for all intents and purposes. For some people, that is great news. For some people, they are not extraordinary in all these other ways. For a lot of people, and I've seen this in the past, other people who are extremely wealthy in the past 10 years that I've seen these cases, they are forced to choose, okay, well, then I will just invest $500,000 or $1 million to the US for this random project that I don't really care about. I'm not trying to make money, just give me my green card, right? So, they get scammed, unfortunately. Then there's the other EB1, EB2 process. It's like, well, I don't have a lot of publications about myself. I don't have a lot of resumes. I've done a few things that's pretty good, but I'm not like best of the best. Well, then I'll spend a lot of money to make myself best of the best and then apply and then get a green card. So I feel like do this big showmanship. Trump is essentially cutting out all that noise. Just give me the money. Just give the government the money. You might like it, you might dislike it, but that is the industry that we're in. Who is this going to harm? Well, real scientists that are coming to the country that are benefiting, they might have to wait longer. They might be disadvantaged. You know, there are a lot of quote unquote companies that take your money to embellish you, to publish books for you, to put you on a TV news channel, to get you, put you on the 40 under 40s lips, 30 under 30 lips. Those companies that take money to package people to qualify for the traditional EB1 and EB2, well, they're going to be harmed because maybe the applicant will say, well, instead of packaging, I just buy it, right? I'll just buy it instead of applying. I mean, imagine if the United States was Harvard. Well, instead of getting a crazy good GPA and working my butt off, instead of being I could just donate $1 million to the West Wing and have my name on the board and I could get in. Well, then I'll just invest $1 million. So that is the situation that we're in. My prediction is a lot of people will apply for this. And my prediction is that a lot of EB1 and EB2, there's going to be a huge priority date. And that's where we get to EB1 or EB2. Okay. Why EB1 and EB2? because the priority dates are limited. There's only a certain amount of slots given for EB1 and only certain slots for EB2. And so when you do this gold card, you can qualify for either one. So if one is used up, then they will use up the second one. And now that becomes a problem because a lot of people who are on EB2, the priority date is already very long. And if suddenly this influx of gold card applicants come in, use up all the EB1 slots, start using the EB2 slots, the EB2 people already having to wait for some countries many, many years, they might have to wait even longer. And that might become very unacceptable for the people who are doing EB2 and IW. And now let's get to the platinum card. Oh, no. Okay, we'll answer some questions.
Some more questions, and then we'll jump into the platinum card. So some attorneys are saying the gold card program, it's technically unlawful.
I understand. And that's why, and you know, I mean, we've been here during Trump 1.0. Like, this is Trump 2.0. If there's anything that I've learned and I've seen in this entire year is that the White House and his team have learned a lot, and they have grown a lot, and they're very sophisticated. They've learned a lot during Trump 1.0. And every time they have failed in 1.0, they have learned it and they have figured it out. And now this Trump 2.0, they're going to succeed. And I can give you plenty of examples. The travel bans during Trump 1.0 failed miserably. A lot of lawsuits stopped. Public charge, wanted to release it 2019, got canceled, stopped. Everything that he wanted to do during Trump 1.0, he realized the friction, he realized the challenges, and he learned from it. From everything that I've seen here, sure, there will be lawsuits that will be levied against him, but it is quite sophisticated, right? Unlike Trump 1.0, it is just what he says, what he wants, and it didn't work, and he's not used to that. This time, there was a lot of legal counsel going around and making what he wants a reality that can be executed. He's going through USCIS, he's going through the Department of State, through the consulate. He's doing a lot, and he's qualifying the gold card under the EB1, EB2 categories. These are all quote unquote legal. You can challenge it saying it's an abuse of power, but the courts, if it's 50-50, who are they going to side with, especially these days? So my prediction is that this will go through. It will be a new thing. And eventually, maybe Congress will create a new program that will be a program that you can just directly buy the green card, and so you're not taking up EB1, EB2 slots. Maybe after a bunch of scientists who have to wait 10 years before they come to the U.S., they realize the U.S. is being harmed because now, you know, in the future, we see all these rich people are coming in, but scientists, artists are not coming in, and U.S. is being harmed. So we need to carve out. But that is for the future administration. The biggest thing about the platinum card is that it might not be a green card or a U.S. citizenship. This is what the platinum card supposedly do. It allows you to reside in the U.S. and not pay taxes. Platinum is better than gold in every industry. Hotels, American Express cards, everything, right? Platinum is supposed to be better. So by labeling as platinum, it makes it look like, oh, I pay $5 million, I get a platinum card, and I don't have to pay taxes because that's what he promised. There is another category in the immigration world where you don't have to pay taxes, worldwide income. You know what that is? That is anybody who's paroled into the humanitarian parole or various visas. You don't have to pay worldwide taxes. Visa, a non-immigrant visa, is a lower tier than a green card for all intents and purposes. Some people want the visa and they don't want the green card. Most people in the public space, in the media, think green card is better, but not always. There are plenty of European clients that we have and other countries, they don't want a green card because green card is a worldwide tax. They're very wealthy outside, but they don't want to stay outside. They want to stay here, but they don't want to pay taxes. So they do a E2 visa or they do a parole. So President Trump came up with the platinum program. So great marketing idea. Platinum better than gold. $5 million for the platinum card, more than the 1 million, and you don't have to pay taxes worldwide if you only reside in the US within a certain amount of days. This platinum card is essentially a parole, is essentially a visa, and he has authority over foreign affairs, and so he has jurisdiction and ability to do that. Think about all of his Russian friends, think about all of his friends worldwide that want to be in the US but don't want to pay taxes worldwide because they have a lot of assets worldwide. They don't want to disclose all of that, but they want to stay in the US. They feel like it's safer, it's better. Then they pay $5 million, you give $5 million, and you get this platinum card, and you get to come into the country. But it is not a green card. That is the biggest difference between the two. That is what the public needs to understand. The platinum card, in reality, it is a visa, it is a parole, it is not a green card, it is not a citizenship. You don't have to swear loyalty to the United States. You don't have to pay worldwide tax. You don't have the obligations of a green card. You're paying a lot more, but you don't have to pay tax. It is truly for the wealthy who want to be here, who want to enjoy the US, but don't want the responsibility of a green card or a citizen. And that leads me to the people who are applying for the gold card. They pay the $1 million, they pay the $2 million, and then they realize, my goodness, I have a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year wait time, and I can't wait that long. I am wealthy because I gave the $1 million, I gave the $2 million. I have this green card visa, but I have to wait for a long time because so many other people did it. I want to come back to the US faster, but none of the non-immigrant visas can be approved. What can I do? That's where the platinum card comes in, where the president says, well, just give me $5 more million, you get the platinum card so you can come in, and then you can get the green card. Is it crazy? Is it not crazy? Rich people live in a different world than we do. I'm just saying this is the program that they have created. Is it going to work? How many people are going to apply? I do think many people will apply for the platinum card. Maybe 1,000, maybe 100,000 people worldwide might want this. Maybe it is more beneficial for them, especially for people who are not E2 qualifying countries. For example, India, for example, Russia, and for example, China, and various other countries. Because other countries, they could just do the E2, and it is tantamount to a green card, and you don't have to pay worldwide tax. So a lot of our UK clients, a lot of our Singaporean clients and Japan clients, they don't want to pay tax worldwide, so they get the E2, they stay in the US. Great. But for other countries that are becoming extremely wealthy, right? There's a lot of wealth flowing into India, a lot of wealth flowing into China and Russia. 5 million is what they're asking for. This is the immigration world in the business space is changing just as much as ICE is impacting a lot of people here on the ground. I'm trying my best to try to provide these kind of insights and how I read these applications. We do a lot of these applications, and so that's how I'm reading it. I'm sharing it.
So P1 visa adjustment from Venezuela. We're going on 2 years waiting for I-138-45. We have EAD, we have advanced parole, but should we worry?
2 years is a long time, but keep on renewing your work permit. If it gets to 2.5, 3 years, maybe look into the mandamus action, look into having your organizations that represent you contact congressmen and senators to try to put an expedite request in. There's nothing much you can do. You're waiting on USCIS, so the only thing you can is push them. And once you already had enough, then the only thing you can do is sue them through the mandamus action.
Okay, so yeah, feel free to add more questions in the chat. Maybe you'll get to this later, but so what's the advantage of doing this rather than the EB-5, where you could potentially get your money back down the line?
Great question. EB-5 is an investment. You invest, there's an ROI, you hope you get a return. EB-5 had a really bad reputation because a lot of people treated it like a contract. I pay $500,000, I get a green card. I don't really care about the money. Some people get it back, great, but a lot of people don't, and some people at least get their green card. Some people even lose their green card and lose the money. EB-5 is an investment. This, you have to really think about it from the perspective of the way it is framed. By giving $1 million, by giving $2 million if it's a corporate sponsor, you get this essential letter rec to prove that you are a person of merit, a person of national importance, that you're going to contribute to the United States. the money is gone. You are amazing. They reviewed your resume. They give you a green card. That's the idea. The EB-5 investment, you can invest $500,000. Well, not 500,000 anymore. But the EB-5 program, you invest $1 million. What if your investment succeeds and you get $5 million back? It's based on the investment. If you are extremely business savvy, you know how to build a great enterprise, you might still want to do the EB-5 program, because not only do you get your money back because you're operating it yourself, it's for your entire family. So some people who have like 6 kids, well, one investment, 7 green cards, assuming your spouse, right?
So they should have clarified it. It's a merit-based adjustment from P1. He's no longer with MLB org, and
Okay.
it's a 5-year EAD.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, if it's a 2-year green card adjustment, is extremely long time. And if it's your spouse is a U.S. citizen, you could definitely contact Congressman to push, right? We've seen a lot of green card adjustments within like a year. So that's definitely a long time.
Can you renew your driver's license with a 485 notice?
Depending on what state you're in, every DMV across the country adjudicates it differently. In California and New York, Democrat state, sanctuary city, much more lenient.
How can I submit advanced parole with a wet reckless?
How can you submit for an advanced parole with a wet reckless? Just try, because in my experience, a lot of advanced parole applications are just done by the contractors. USCIS is not reviewing it. A lot of these are just issued. I rarely see advanced paroles, reentry permits challenged or denied. If it's an I-90 green card renewal, if it's a work permit, work authorization, they're doing slight changes. But now with that being said, try the advanced parole, make the argument, submit it in. Just because you get it does not mean you will suddenly be, bulletproof if you leave the country and come back in, because at the airport or at the land border, the customs officer could see your advanced parole, but still see the wet reckless and still challenge you. So I would be much more concerned when it's a real officer viewing your situation. And so you will still have to make the argument that you are not inadmissible due to the wet reckless. So if your next question is, well, then how do I, deal with the customs officer, the CBP officer? My recommendation is to take your wet reckless charge, right? Conviction, take everything, upload it to ChatGPT or Gemini, assuming you're okay with the privacy situation, and ask them if this is inadmissible, and do a criminalization analysis, right? Hopefully it's fine. But if it's not fine, and if all the GPTs are saying it's inadmissible, then I would not leave the country.
Now, for this 485 to get a driver's license, they're in Georgia.
Find a local Georgia DMV to double check. It's DMV law, is state law. California attorney, I can't advise on Georgia law.
How can I reach your office? I have a pending AOS. I've done the interview. It's been 5 months. So, yeah.
We can do a consultation. If you go on our website, you can book a consultation. If it's this question, any of the people that you book with will be able to easily answer that question for you. Consultation fee is $250 right now. I think we're gonna up it next year. Yeah.
Thoughts on DACA's future?
I have high hopes. Maybe I'm more optimistic, but I believe in the DACA program. I believe that it is beneficial for the U.S. economy and for the government. I believe that after this crazy purge that we're seeing in 25, 26, 27, however long, whatever remains is the cream of the crop, the people who've survived it all. And I believe that the next phase of the U.S. Democracy and immigration reform will include a provision that will allow DACA holders to get green cards, to get citizenship. I strongly believe that if there's a prediction market on this, I would go all in on the fact that DACA will eventually get a green card. That's my personal opinion.
Should the P1 to AOS case, is that affected by the 19-country ban since it's from
Yes.
Venezuela?
Absolutely.
So does that mean they just can't get it?
I mean, keep on trying. I mean, the ban might stop, might revise, might change, right? But the 19-country ban definitely pauses all benefit adjudications, especially green cards.
Will Trump Gold Card give you an allowance for McDonald's?
Will Trump's gold card give you an allowance for McDonald's? Wow, love it. No.
Okay. Anything about the people getting arrested at green card interviews because of overstaying F1 visa?
Let's talk about that. I was gonna actually talk about that today until the Trump card dropped, so I had to switch the news segment. But since you brought it up, let's talk a little bit about this. It started 2 weeks ago in San Diego.
And how do you know it started?
How do we know it started? Because we're seeing news. The panelists that I spoke with at the ALA conference told us that it's happening. We have on the lawyer threads, we have seen clients who've had it. None of our clients have personally been detained, although we have seen clients who received notice to intent to appear before immigration judge. Now, this is crazy because when this happened, the entire firm went deep dive into this policy, and all the policy manuals that we're seeing requires USCIS to issue notice of intent to appear after they deny the case. Not during, but after. But our client got the notice of intent to appear before the case was denied. And now we have to deal with this particular case at the court to try to win the case at the court, and it's out of the jurisdiction of USCIS. Now, luckily, our client wasn't detained. They just got the notice of intent to appear, so they left. So now we have to fight it at court. But other people that we're seeing in San Diego, they were detained, not for a couple hours, but for a couple days, and then released. But now they have to go to immigration court to fight it out. Just because visa overstay. It is quite crazy. They have a great marriage case. A lot of these applications that we're seeing, all the attorneys said there will be no doubt this case would be approved by USCIS in the years past. But because of policy change, administration change, USCIS is saying, oh, visa overstay, you file for adjustment of status. Sorry, it's not us adjudicating now. We throw it to immigration court. If this becomes policy, this will have a drastic impact on how immigration is conducted in the United States, and it will make people flying into the United States and then adjusting status make it much more fearful. Because if all of these type of cases, if you are a visa overstay and you file for adjustment of status, if the end result is every single one of them is going to be thrown to the courts, and the courts are already, a couple million cases backlogged, and you're going to flood them with a few 100,000 more, then that means these 45 cases that used to take a couple months, a year, 2 years at USCIS will now take years and years at the immigration courts. So that is a very drastic change. We haven't seen it nationally yet. We are seeing it happen. Are they doing it selectively, or is it going to just become policy? You're a visa overstay, you file 45, let the courts deal with the 45, not us. It is unprecedented move. And in my opinion, from everything that I've read and studied on this subject, it seems to greatly exceed what their own policy requires, right? It made sense back in 2018, 2019, this year, when they say, if there is a denial, we issue a notice of intent to appear. That's fair. Right? That is 100% fair. You came in as a visa, you filed a 45 adjustment of status, and during that process, a USCIS officer denies your case and gives you a notice of intent to appear because now you're out of status. That is fair. It sucks for some people who, if their application was denied for a paperwork reason, you might have to file a motion to reopen, to correct it. But whatever the case, at least that's fair. But if you came in as a visa and then you file for adjustment of status, and just because your visa is already expired, USCIS directly transfers all of these cases to the court, I feel like that is exceeding their authority, and that is unfair. Is it a tactic? Is it politics? Is it showmanship? That I don't know yet. We'll find out more in the coming months. But if you're asking, is it happening? It is happening.
EB1 interview scheduled for adjustment of status. Should I be worried?
Well, You should always be worried because this is an interview to get a green card. Is it out of ordinary? No. USCIS has been doing these for the past few years. So it is standard now. How you should prepare, you should focus at least 50% on your adjustment of status application part, not so much about the I-140, but you should spend another 50% focusing just purely on the I-140, the business plan, and what you've been doing in the United States this entire time, right? So that's something I definitely recommend.
What are your thoughts on the bill Exclusive Citizenship Act of 2025?
I don't know about it.
Yeah, I think that's a really recent thing, right?
I will find out more and maybe we'll do a video on it. But next week will be our last live show for the year, and then we'll start back up in like late January.
My family resided in Qatar for over 3 years. For PCC, it takes 36 months to wait. What should I do? I've already filed for it now. Is there a way to just submit receipts or just wait and submit later?
I'm not quite sure. What's the question? Submitted, is it spent 3 years in Qatar and then...
For PCC?
I don't know what PCC is. Is that for the E2? I'm sorry, that's beyond what I normally do.
What concept? Oh, police certificate.
Oh.
For U visa, Henry?
I'm sorry. I have so many questions I don't know.
Yeah, we don't do U visas.
Yes.
What constitutes as serious harm of a person on the ESTA question regarding arrests?
I don't know. I actually never dealt with that. In an ESTA application, well, yeah, so first, I don't know. But second, based on my understanding, when you're applying for ESTA, if there's any sort of arrest, a lot of times they just strict deny and force you to apply for B1, B2 visa.
And then at the consulate, right?
Yeah, at the consulate.
And do you think that's like there's gray area basically? Or...
ESTA is almost 100% adjudicated by AI, 100% adjudicated by just like processing.
Right. So
if they see anything, they just send it to the consulate because ESTA is supposed to be like a fast track, so you could just get approved and come in the country. So if there's anything that they see, any arrest, any conviction, they almost clearly deny it.
DACA wait times for renewals?
I believe Gabby said it takes about 6 to 9 months now. So don't apply. So basically, apply at least 6 to 9 months early before it expires at the minimum.
Okay, so this police certificate is for DS-260. Your suggestion has always worked for me in the past. So, okay, if I read the question again.
Okay.
My family resided in Qatar for over 3 years.
Okay.
For the police certificate.
Okay.
For DS-260.
Right.
It takes 36 months.
Right.
What should I do? I've already filed for it. Is there a way to just submit the receipts now or wait and submit?
Oh, okay, I get it. When you reside in a country for over 6 months, anywhere around the world, you're supposed to get a police certificate and clearance to show that you have no criminal record, and you submit it. And during the DS-260 process, if you resided in a lot of different places, well, then you need to get a lot of police certificate. It's a huge headache. It's a very painful process, and every country does it differently. And so you're in a situation where you requested it, but it's taking a long time, and you can't submit it to the DS-260 NVC, and you can't go on to the next step. What we have done in the past is we submit the proof that we've already applied for it, but we don't have it yet. This is when we'll get it. Please allow me to move on to the next step. I'll bring it to the interview. And sometimes it works. So show everything. Now, NVC might bounce back and say, sorry, we can't move forward until we get it. Then you're kind of stuck. But we have seen it able to process to show that you've already done everything. This is the only thing that's pending, and you'll upload the original document, submit at the interview or later on.
If you have removal order and you want to self-deport, will you be detained at the airport?
I haven't seen anybody detained at the airport leaving unless they have an arrest warrant. So if you have no arrest warrant, you're self-deporting and you're leaving, no one's really stopping you.
Do you help with cases that have been stuck in NVC? It's been over 15 years for a sibling case.
If it's 15 years, it's not really stuck at the NVC. The NVC probably already denied them if it was already approved. If it's not approved yet, then it's still stuck with USCIS. I think the best thing is just do a consultation to really find out exactly where your situation is and if there's even hope to go on. Maybe you have to appeal, you have to reopen something, but 15 years, a lot of I-130s just take that long, and so you're not even ripe yet. It's not even ripe for filing it. So, right.
Why do they say to renew 120 days for DACA?
Yeah, that is what they say. And a lot of people wait until the very, very, very end until they renew because they want to save money. I totally understand that. But because these work permits are taking longer and longer to adjudicate, and especially now they're looking and scrubbing anything that's any arrest records or any record that they don't like, then they issue requests for evidence. So it's taking longer. So that's why we recommend, the moment you are eligible to file for the work permit, renew it, you want to start that early. And, at our firm, right, sometimes that's 6 months, right? So before because, you have to prepare the application before you file.
So we don't do U visas, so we're not going to be able to help with that. Can I do adjustment of status without leaving the country? This is the same DACA question.
So if you are on DACA, in order to file for adjustment of status, you need to qualify for 245A, 245K, 245I. One of those exceptions, you must meet it in order. Most DACA recipients apply for advanced parole, leave the country, re-enter, and file the 45 based on 245A. If you don't qualify for that, you need one of the other exceptions, right? So if you are a DACA recipient and you entered without inspection,
they're married to a U.S. citizen.
Even if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you still need to meet one of the requirements. And for most DACA recipients, it is applying for advanced parole. It is leaving. It is coming back. And then you qualify for the 245A in order to file for 485 adjustment of status.
So for this PCC submitting, explain, what should I actually write and submit? Is it the receipt or the fingerprint form?
I would recommend booking a consultation with Gabby. So if you go in the consultation tab on our YouTube, on our website, it's Spanish consultation. She does a lot of these overseas ones. So during the consultation, she could show you everything that we normally do, and then you could just copy and paste it. That's the best idea. Then we can have more detailed understanding. But what I would do, right? Again, I haven't done this in years. That's all her department. I would just say everything, right? I mean, because there's no harm to tell them the truth, right? I submitted it. It takes this long. Here's a receipt. Here's a fingerprint. Here's everything I've done. Please allow my case to move forward. That's my recommendation.
I had my 485 by 130, December 9th, with DACA, with advanced parole. It says USCIS is actively reviewing my case.
They are actively trying to review your case when it is time. That's the interpretation, right? So somebody is there. It's just processing. There's not much you can do. You can contact Emma to try to push them. Emma is the online tool that USCIS allows. It works, so you can do that first. But you're just waiting right now.
Yes, you can find our website and I believe our phone number in our bio. Is there a fee for consultation?
$250.
So for DS-260, I clicked the question about USCIS visa rejection. I said no, but I realized my mom has actually been denied twice before. I thought it was just about ports of entry.
Oh.
Is that going to make a difference? What should I do?
If it's already submitted, you can always clarify it at the interview. There's a high chance your mother's visa interview will not be waived, right? I mean, a lot of people's visas interviews are waived and just directly get the visa, but because there's any sort of error, the AI system will catch it and then they will issue the interview appointment, but you can always explain it at the interview. Don't worry too much about it. There are sometimes you can reopen the visa application. You have to contact the consulate. It's a lot of work. If it's just that one small problem, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
They say asylum is paused or stopped in the process. So how will that affect my asylum process?
Then it will be stopped, and I mean, at least you're still in the U.S., so you can keep on renewing the work permits, right?
Yeah. So on this DS-260, they selected the wrong thing on the if there's been any denial, and then they made a minor typo on a birth city.
Sure.
Is that worth reopening, or do you think just leave it to the interview?
Just leave it to the interview. Mistakes happen all the time. Human error happens all the time. There's a low chance of having your interview waived anyways. So, but they are waiving a small portion of them. But just go to interview, prepare, and explain everything.
My husband's in detention center. They approved stay of removal, applied for immediate release. Is there a chance?
Yeah, prove that there's no flight risk, there's no public harm. Do your best to make the good arguments and present all your equity arguments. I think the hardest part of removal proceeding is just the time it takes, right? I mean, they're in detention. You're having sleepless nights. You've already waited weeks and weeks, if not months, and then you want a bond hearing, and the court will tell you, sorry, the soonest one might be in March. That's very painful to hear.
Hi, I'm new here. Why are advanced paroles not getting approved as fast anymore with DACA?
It's because of budget and contracting. So USCIS, years ago had a contract center that does all the advanced paroles, all the work permits. They thought that it's not good to do that, and so they bring it all in-house while not hiring more people and firing everyone. So things have just slowed down tremendously.
Can I still bring my fiance from Laos after Trump banned it?
Very, very difficult. Any benefit is being stopped.
What about anyone asking for bond in immigration court and judges saying there's a lack of jurisdiction?
I don't know what that judge means. There's probably a very specific situation where the judge is saying that. Usually the denial is just straight. No, it's a mandatory detention. No, we're not granting it. But if it's a lack of jurisdiction, I don't know what they mean by that.
Any thoughts for someone with a 2-year green card traveling internationally with any criminal history? Is that safe?
With no criminal history?
With some criminal history.
It depends on the criminal history. So if you ask ChatGPT or, any drug offense, it's really, really bad. And if it's a parking ticket, it's not as bad. But anything in between is a gray area.
Does having a minor misdemeanor affect your chances of applying for citizenship?
Everything will affect your citizenship now. So that's based on the good moral character analysis. So having a misdemeanor is not a nail in the coffin, but you want to do everything else to prove that you are beneficial to the United States and that you are better than the average American. So based on your education, your work, the taxes, how many relatives you have, right? Like you will really want to double down on the good moral character because they just released a new memo talking about the good moral character.
How long now are advanced parole for DACA? Like it used to be 4 to 6 months?
I'm not sure. I wish Gabby was here. She does all the advanced parole for DACA recipients, so she knows the exact number. But we are still applying it and we're still getting it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe a couple months. Now, I mean, for most people who are on DACA, you get the advanced parole. You just need it for one day, right? You just need to leave, do your thing, come back, and now you can adjust status to get a green card, assuming you got married to a U.S. citizen, right? So that has never been a problem where it's like, oh, the advanced parole wasn't long enough.
Can someone who was on parole and still get detained, is that legal?
Can somebody who's on parole get detained? Is that legal? It absolutely is legal. For example, if you have DACA, ICE can still detain you. If you are a green card holder, ICE can still detain you. The reason being is ICE has authority to deport anybody who's deportable. And so if you are paroled in, if you are DACA, if you have a green card, if you have a visa, if you committed something that they think is deportable, they have the authority to detain you, to deport you. Now, I'm assuming your question is, I've been paroled in, I have no criminal history, I don't have any other problems, can they still deport me? Then the question is different, right? But if you committed something, then they have the authority, even green card holders. U.S. citizens, less so, but green card holders.
Can I file for my N-400 while the 751 is pending?
Yes.
I'm currently divorced.
Oh, then no.
Divorce.
Okay, no.
Based on domestic violence.
No. The N-400 requires 5 years of green card if you're not married to a U.S. citizen.
I see.
I see. So I thought the question was, I got married, I got my 2-year green card, it's been a long time, I filed the 751, it's still pending, and I want to expedite it, so I filed for N-400. But if you've been married, you got divorced, and you've had your green card for over 5 years, and the 751 waiver hasn't been adjudicated yet, then yes, you can file for the N400.
I recently filed an expedited case and submitted evidence online, but following up via chat. Agent said I need to mail evidence. Should I be concerned or worried?
Read the question.
So filed online,
Yeah.
expedited case. They followed up via chat, and then the agent on USCIS chat, they said they need to mail the evidence. Is that concern?
Then I would mail the evidence.
But not necessarily something to be worried about?
It's so rare. I've never seen that because USCIS hates getting original documents, and so I would try to chat again, and I would try the 800 number to talk to an agent to see if that's but I haven't seen that. Now there are unique circumstances where you do need to mail something in, like your medical. But if it's everything else, they want digital scan copies.
Okay, our last question we'll take. I visited the U.S. for holiday, spent 18 days. Then I got married on my B1 visa the day before I returned home. Is my visa at risk?
No. So, let me explain. Wedding tourism is a great thing that the United States love and CBP officers love that most people don't realize. Flying to the country, get married, have a big festival, that's fantastic. You're spending a lot of money in the US, you're a pure tourist. What they hate is you fly in, you get married, and then you apply for adjustment of status. Then you're lying to the officer. So the fact that you flew in, within 18 days got married, got a wedding, and then flew out, no harm, no foul. You were a tourist. And then you're going to get your green card overseas, all the better. And so today's success story is about an EB3 application. And it is the craziest EB3 application that I have seen recently. The job was a marketing specialist. And Galen, right in front of me, is a marketing specialist himself. The job offer is $40,000. College graduate, $40,000, EB3. Not a master's degree, just a bachelor's degree, $40,000. The company is an outdoorsy company in Texas that needs a marketing specialist for their company, offers $40,000, and it's 100% remote. Galen, how many people do you think applied for this job across the country? This is back in 2021, 2022.
Okay, yeah, 40,000 in 2021 is very different. I'm going to say 50.
There's a lot of people who applied for this job. And if you know anything about EB3, it's the fact that if there's one qualifying candidate, minimum qualifying candidate, not the most qualified, minimum qualifying candidate, then your entire application is thrown to the trash. That's what happened in this case. This client got their university degree abroad in Asia. They were working at a different company. They just and this company wanted them, and they said, okay, I could be a marketing specialist. So they started the perm process. They're not even working for the company yet, okay? So let's call this company Company B. They're not working for Company B yet. They filed the perm application for a marketing position that's under 40,000, not even 40,000, under 40,000, fully remote position. Got a bunch of applications. It was a very difficult case to have to fight through. On top of that, the company's tax return was not looking good. Year in, year out, negative profits. If you know anything about immigration, you have to know the companies who's sponsoring these people from overseas, they have to prove they have the ability to pay. How can you pay this 30,000, 40,000 salary if you are negative profits every year? That's another extremely challenging part of the application. What ended up happening was Grace and Lisa, they put together this case, filed it, and we made a really good argument saying that the future of this company is extremely bright. Net profit was down year over year, but net sales was increasing at a dramatic pace, that this company was hiring aggressively at every single stage and every single position, and they are in critical need of a marketing specialist that can come in, that can improve the company. That's the argument. And all the 50 plus applications, because it's a fully remote job, everybody declined the job. Maybe because they thought the salary was too low. In 2021, 2022, guess what? The entire US was hiring marketing specialists. There was a market grab for marketing specialists. We were hiring marketing specialists in 21, 22, 23 as a law firm, right? Everybody needed marketing specialists. And there was such a tight amount of people who studied marketing specifically, right? So having a bachelor's degree in marketing, who have years of experience and who wanted a job, they did not choose the $40,000 job, remote position for this outdoorsy company. Maybe it was the work hours, but they all rejected it. The company was growing. They needed the position. They couldn't afford, but the future looked good. All these things packaged together, filed it with USCIS, fingers crossed, and the case got approved. It was a miracle case. We were anticipating the most challenging request for evidence. We only gave one tax return because the numbers just didn't look good, but we could have prepared a lot more, and we were preparing a lot more to fight the request for evidence, but we never got it. The case was directly approved. And when I'm looking at it now in 2025, because again, we filed it in 2022, 2 years, the case was filed in July of 2025, and it just got approved like last month with no request for evidence. It is remarkable that a $40,000 salary for an EB3 for a client that doesn't work at that company, is working remotely, gets approved into now and gets a green card. Compared to the Trump card, $1 million per individual for $5 million for a parole stamp. It just seems completely bizarre that this is the immigration world that we're living in. And then you have US citizens who marry their spouses, they have kids together, they go to an interview and they can be like separated and detained and have to go through immigration court and wait potentially an extra 2 years after already waiting for like 2 years. It's just so bizarre, the space that we're living in, but that is happening, and it's changing every day. And another thing about this client, I mean, I guess going back to this client, is the fact that they applied for a separate H-1B and a separate perm through Company A. So we are responsible for Company B, but they have a Company A. They have a separate law firm filing, and they messed up and everything got denied. Their H-1B got denied, everything got denied, and we succeeded on our end with the crazy... The reason I'm calling us the Company B is because we're Plan B, right? They are at a different company filing their H-1B, their perm, and they failed. And our quote-unquote Plan B, with this crazy marketing position that is out of state, that is low salary, that doesn't have it, somehow succeeded. The only takeaway that I have from this experience is try and try harder. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. Try your best. You never know where you're going to succeed, because in this world that we live in, there's just so many things that's happening all at once. You know, in the past, a couple years ago, if the company is going to sponsor you and you're going to get married to a U.S. citizen, maybe just do the U.S. citizen, right? Like get a green card that way. It's much easier. Nowadays, I'm telling people, let the company still sponsor you just in case the U.S. citizen somehow fails, or the marriage breaks, or he has a criminal record that you don't know of 20 years ago, and the Adam Walsh prevents him from ever sponsoring anybody, right? So there's a lot of ways to get green cards. Don't just stick with one.